So this is a brief look at some Japanese tools. Shinwa is the brand. Not very common in England, the UK. You do see them sell some sort of online stores like Amazon and from Workshop Heaven. But apparently they've got 80% of the market share for these sort of measuring and marking tools in Japan. So they know the stuff. This is just a few of them that I've used over the past few years, and I like most of them. Most of them work really well. This mitre saddle square is a good tool. This is the plastic version. It's polycarbonate plastic, so it's quite robust, even though it's not quite as good as the aluminium ones and stainless steel ones they sell. And you know, I've dropped it a few times and it doesn't chip that easily. It's got clear markings along here, and this sort of thing is a convenience tool because it basically allows you to mark along the workpiece from the edge in these two different directions at one time in a consistent, accurate way, rather than with another mitre square. Another square which you have to sort of move as you mark from each edge. So they're pretty good. Those, you know, it's a useful little tool to have. Moving on to the next one, these rulers are excellent, probably the best of the lot. A little bit. This is the 150mm one here, and really clear markings on here. They've all got these stoppers which slide along freely and stop into position with that little screw mechanism here, and it's actually really square to the reference edges. And so you can use it to, you know, as like a depth stop to mark along workpieces like that, and that works really well. And as I say, it's flexible, so you can push down into workpieces and get into corners and things like that, which is really useful. This is the 300mm version. This one's a little bit more rigid. It's slightly less flexible, but an excellent tool, really sturdy. It's hardened as well, so the edges, I mean, I've used this one a bit, and let's see if we can get focus here. The edges do not, you know, dint at all. They stay really tough and in position. They're pretty good there. Next one, the protractor. This is a good tool as well. This screw here, hand screw, tightens it into position, and it holds really well. That works pretty good. Obviously, it's a smaller protractor. So no good for bigger work, but for precise work that's really good. Again, it's stainless steel, really clear angle markings on there, so that's a win as well. The bevel gauge is slightly less successful, I think, and the problem with this is this locking nut. And let's see if we can open this up here. Really nicely sort of machined and stainless steel material. It's all good, nice brass locking nut, but hand tighten this up and move it, and it just, you know, it's just impossible to keep that into position. So what you have to do, it's basically you have to use a screwdriver and lock that down tightly like that, and then it stays in position. So that's not going to be a tool you're going to be wanting to chuck in your toolbox and use on site. It's more of a workshop-based tool where you lock into position and work with it on a workpiece, on a piece of furniture for the length of the project, something like that. Finally, this is the latest one I've bought. This is a dial caliper, and it's made out of plastic. It's I think it's described as being resin, nylon resin infused with carbon fibre, and it works really well. This. And these sort of things live and die by the repeatability, so a lot of the cheap ones, as you move them back and forth, back to zero position, they don't reset to zero, or they do it inconsistently. Whereas this one, as you can see here, probably got that the wrong way around, as you can see, it just, every time, it's just very accurate. You could probably hear a little bit of clicking here. And what's happening here is that this is slipping, but it doesn't affect what's being read measurement wise, so there's no real issue there. It's just you've got to press down on it a little bit for it to take, but this is good. I mean, typically you'd buy this kind of thing as opposed to one of the stainless steel ones to avoid marking workpieces, you know, if you've got softer things that you're marking. but I thought I'd give that a go as a lightweight one to chuck around in the workshop. And you know, a lot of the cheaper battery-based ones, the battery just doesn't last very long in them. So if you've got a passing interest in what Shinwa have to offer, just have a look at their online catalogue. I'll post a link in the description. But if you're a tool geek or a measuring and marking geek, if there's even such a thing, just take a look at this. It's an incredible catalogue, over 200 pages long. A lot of this stuff I think is only really available in Japan, at least directly anyway, if you're looking at places like Amazon, etc. But you can really geek out about some of this stuff. You've got, you know, your typical carpenter square stuff which you can get hold of. You know, there's often talk online about you know, the dispute between imperial and metric, but get a load of this. You've got for sale here some bamboo rulers, and they use this measuring system called Shinka, I believe. That's what it's called. Let's have a look here. Kenshuka, apparently. So they didn't have imperial obviously before they converted to metric, and that's what they're. You can still get the stuff here if that's your thing in Japan. So yeah, there's some really interesting sort of guides for miter saws. It's incredible really. If it can be measured or marked, it's all in this catalogue, so take a look at that.